Greetings, all of you human equivalents of this robot's vacant stare, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the Land Adventure mode, where today, we're going to be getting vengeance in the most satisfying way possible by focusing almost completely on a melee craft. That means using things like the rams, eventually maybe even the nukes, using spin blocks, potentially even the particle cannons and their melee lens. Here we are, forms a constant beam moving between itself and another lens on the same turret. Moving into the arc of this beam has deadly consequences in order to tear apart every other design we can possibly find and hopefully get all the way to difficulty 100 today. So any guesses on how far I actually get, feel free to put in the comments straight away, and please no cheating, it's okay if you don't get it right. Let's see how many can guess where I actually get during this video. Now, to do all of this, the main thing I'm really going to be focusing on pretty much throughout the entire game is going to be spin blocks, because how the melee weapon works, the ram, is that they have stored damage. You can see their stored impact damage. As you move, that increases, and as you slow down, it decreases. Well, spin blocks move by themselves and thus constantly give themselves additional damage. Now, it isn't as much as the entire craft, because it's based on the weight of the spin block rather than the base weight of the craft, but it's still going to be consistent damage. And plus, who doesn't want to see giant saws tearing into every enemy nearby? So with all that out the way and way too much waffling, I'll be right back once I've made some progress turning this little raft into our perfect little killing machine. Oh, and also, we do have harpoons that we can use. Okay, so these thrusters can help with turning, they also help with speed, and because we're so light, this thing can go incredibly quickly even though the engines can't fully support anything. Our first few fights are likely just going to be hit the enemy with the ram, as simple as that. We just need to have at least some light armor on all of our vital components, and then we'll be okay for a fight. After that, small missiles using harpoons. So how these work, let's just throw one down so I can quickly show them off, because we are going to be using these a lot throughout this run, I imagine. How did I build it that direction? You know what? Fine, it doesn't matter. So we have this here, the cable drum, which will extend how far the harpoon can fire, and then the harpoon itself, which will stick into the enemy, and then use winches to winch them directly towards us. In other words, winch them directly into the ram. So they're the winches, we need them all over the missiles, and it's as simple as that. Now, with them as well, if we go for decently large harpoons, we can also add a little bit of venom to them, a little bit of EMP, so that wherever it hits, it will also start taking off very lightly armored systems. Now, we don't want to add explosives or frag or anything like that, because they may actually destroy the block the harpoon's attached to, and then make the harpoon completely useless. At the moment, I'm just a big old block of armor, and I'm okay with that. Oh, well, I'm not exactly ready for a fight, but apparently there's one here anyway. Ah, there it is. Got ya. At least a little bit. Oh no, I haven't set up the winches yet! Oh, desired range 0, please. There we go, now it's kind of working. Preventing the enemy from getting away too fast, even though only a few hit. Please stop hurting me, I haven't added any armor to the front yet either. This thing is like 5-10 minutes too early, and I'm kind of just piloting a block of metal right now. There we go. Okay, take that. Okay, I've got to be honest, I expected a little bit more from that, but not... nothing. There we go, okay. That was not an elegant first fight, I fully admit. I had just replaced the thrusters and everything. Okay, I'll be back when hopefully we get a fight again like that, where things are actually functioning. I think this thing actually looks kind of cute. I just rang the adventure bell since I've just left the resource zone. I'd like to test out this thing to make sure it's working. It's like a little beetle now, which I'm completely fine with. We definitely need better engines though. Like, even going at this speed is actually draining energy, which is kind of atrocious. Now, we are going 30 meters per second, so we're not exactly going super slow, but since we're a ramming vehicle, we really want to get to at least 60, and that's like our max speed at the moment, so yeah, there's lots to upgrade with this craft. We need some basic guns, we need better harpoons, we need loads more melee, we need spin blocks. There's a lot we can do with this thing, which thankfully are all mostly very cheap. I feel like we're going to be a very large craft by the end in comparison to the previous run, while we're being around about the same price. Okay, here they are. Ooh, that hill was not great for the missiles. But okay, I've landed quite a few, and yep, I have turned off my engines. This is just me moving naturally right now. We didn't even ram them. Okay, so what happened then was the harpoons basically dragged the enemy into the dirt, and the dirt itself destroyed the enemy. I'm okay with that. Okay, good to know. Harpoons are definitely working a lot better than that first test. To get some more resource in this resource zone, I think the first thing we need, I've got some empty space already, is just bigger engines. Eventually, we'll move over to fuel engines, and then at the very end of the game, because these things are so expensive to run more than anything else, is we'll have custom jets. I mean, we could have them with an on-off switch, so I only use the custom jets when we're in a rush. Was that an attack? Oh, okay, that flash purple was actually a shell. Okay, don't go too fast, don't want to drain our power. We do want the power mostly for the winches. The winches can basically make us move super quickly, because although we're also pulling the enemy to us, we're also pulling us to the enemy with the winches. I can't wait to hit some aircraft with them. Oh, that was beautiful. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Lovely. Wow, okay, so the dust is so small, the missiles are actually having a real tough time seeing it. Now, thankfully, the Duster's missiles aren't particularly difficult to dodge for ourselves, but still. What can I do then? Well, I wasn't expecting this, considering how heavy we are. Okay, there we go. Now I've put the thrusters down. Oh, the poor Duster. Oh, look at it trying. Oh, are we... I'm not sure if we're actually heading towards it or not, or what's happening. The pitch control is trying its best, so is the roll control. This is... okay, this is, a weird deleted scene from Up. There we go, finally. Oh no, pause. Why isn't the roll control being good enough right now? Yeah, I think you should be doing more. Okay, you know what, manual roll control, fine. As long as we land on our wheels, we should be fine. Trying to control the camera and the movement here is not the best. Okay. Wow, what was that fight? I'm thinking one more fight and then we'll go to difficulty 5. Oh, a little bike. The Copperhead. Well, the missiles all missed. Oh, no, never mind. 2 of them landed. That's it. Get dragged in and goodbye. Beautiful. Okay, where's the closest red portal? That would be probably the one to the left. Yep, directly east. You know, left. Also known as east. I'm smart with these things. Anyway, over there, let's go. Hey everyone, Future Lathrix here, as is tradition with these full playthroughs. So, after this run, I will be doing a series of challenge runs next in the adventure mode format, and I really want some feedback on some good ideas for what constraints should we put on these runs. Things like simple weapons only, entering space and then never leaving space. If you leave space, the run's over. Only a certain movement type, only a certain weapon type. There are lots of different things you can do within this game to make it a lot more difficult for yourself in a game which is already rather punishing and really RNG based. So any suggestions are very welcome in the comments below. On top of that, likes and comments, all that good stuff really do help out these videos so much. They are algorithm poison, so I really have to say any interaction is so welcome, and I want to say a massive thank you to all of the feedback, all of the support the last few videos have got. It has been so lovely seeing the channel thrive again, and that is all down to you, so thank you so much. I really do hope you enjoy this video. It was one of the most satisfying videos to record I have ever done. Turns out, just tearing things apart, very fun. So with that, back to the past, making one of the weirdest looking craft I have ever built in my life. When you place down a thruster, you will normally automatically be given the automatic control here, which normally does a decent job. For instance, this one is going to be both with turning and with going forwards. That's fine. Sometimes, though, it does mess up a little bit. It turns out these 2 jets on the sides were completely for pitch, which isn't quite right considering they're on the very sides of the center of mass. So that's why they weren't really working. Ooh, a blue portal. I haven't seen one of you in a while. Okay, well, not right now though, thank you. I don't really have the resources to do anything with our craft, and I don't want to go to difficulty 20 with this thing. I will, however, go to that resource zone over there. As per usual, the enemies attack while I'm still making some major changes, so right now we're looking a little bit weirder than usual. And that was odd. Oh, I haven't set up the new winches correctly, and I haven't set up the new winches correctly, of course. Only half of them even dragging the enemy in. Still, got the job done. There we go. One more enemy is defeated. We could have captured it, but I have no way of actually escaping my craft at the moment because, again, very much a work in progress. Well, I mean, it looks goofy, but kind of looks like a car wash of doom. Okay, so the car wash of doom should be able to do impact damage. So you may see on here it has some minus damage there. That's because for a while I had this one on reverse, so, you know, they were both rolling into each other, which looked way better, but that didn't seem to work out correctly. Now, the other thing is I want to see if increasing the speed does actually increase the stored damage. I imagine it probably will. Oh, God. Massively so. Okay, so that's what we're going to have to do then, have them go like that. I'm hoping this actually works how I think it works, because I know spin blocks have been changed a lot since last time I played. Now we need to protect all of this section because that is really vulnerable. Okay. That's kind of detonated then. Either way, to difficulty 10, and I need to do some serious building work on this thing. Currently it's really unstable. It's very heavy and honestly very heavily armoured, but other than that it has very little to it. So I accidentally grabbed a nuke. Yeah, that's a nuke behind me, which I'm currently dragging using the torp. I don't know how to possibly remove the harpoon, so I'm just hoping, there we go, that by dragging it sideways, it was going to set it off. Okay, good. I promise I have a vague idea what I'm going to do with this craft in the end, but for now, it is an angry pancake. It's an angry pancake that spins. It's an angry, spinny pancake. Wait, what is dead in the background? Okay, apparently this one was so scared by my presence, and by the way, it looks awesome, that it just destroyed itself, which was interesting. Okay, the enemies are still pretty much the same at this difficulty, so I will be going to 15 pretty quickly. I love how that one just explodes. Okay, to 15. I have also been told by the From the Depths Twitter anyway, that apparently all of the difficulty settings are being revamped soon with more balance and different enemies and certain difficulties, so that's really good to see. Because at the moment I do feel like the first, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 levels are all very samey, then suddenly things spike very, very suddenly. I said suddenly twice because how sudden it really is. Also, look at that hill in the background. Look at how it's hollow. I really want to try and go underneath this hill, but I'm also terrified I'll glitch out and never be seen from again. Oh, it looks like a wisp, and it's fighting something else. I guess the wisp is the bigger target, because the wisp is a pretty big target, so let's try and chase that. Hopefully our missiles will do enough to drag this thing down. I kind of doubt it, honestly. This thing has loads of jets. Okay, a few connections. And a few more. Okay, we knocked off its turret, or at least a part of its turret. Yeah, we are not dragging this thing down, no chance. Though, it should mess up its attack runs, at least. We are also pretty much immune to EMP, so its missiles won't do anything against us, and if its turret's down, we've kind of neutralized it just because of the missiles. Which is pretty lucky, because, yeah, we clearly need more engines, and oh, I've done it again, I've only just added these missiles, and guess who hasn't changed? The winches. It me. I was thinking that was a bit weak. There we go, that should be taking all of my power, I imagine. Or at least most of it. So, fighting against the Wisp here, and similar to that Duster fight, we're kind of being dragged more by it than it is by us. Though, we have seemingly broke something with the minor EMP surge, so it's not firing at us. I'm having a lot of very silly fights today, it seems. Oh, is that finally going to hit the ground? It seems like it's so close to knocking onto the ground. Okay, this is nice and stable. Oh, I just turned on my engines again to see if I can catch up with it. No. Okay, so clearly what we need is more engine power because the... this could be a problem. The winches are taking up 100% of my engine power, which means some of it isn't being used. Oh good, I finally hit the thing and I couldn't even see what happened. There we go. Okay, goodbye. Well, that took like 10 minutes. Yes, so what we could do, and yes, I actually added some more batteries there to strengthen my engine near the end. What we could do is add a turret using one of the things I never use, which is this, the piston. That will allow us to actually target an enemy with a piston, and then the piston extends and then hits the target as long as it's close enough by, and then we can use rams on that piston. That could work out okay. Or just some really basic anti-air weapons, just like a tiny railgun or something, like a really miniature one would also work. Okay, so far, these have been so deadly. It's always odd when you're extending the craft and you're just using the prefabs, well, not the prefabs, by prefabbing your own craft. It can look a bit weird for a while, but this is kind of what we need at the moment. We need more space so we can actually add our proper engines finally. We also need some space for a gun. Although, of course, melee is meant to be the focus of this run, it certainly will be. Having a very basic anti-air gun would be very welcome. Just any fast-firing gun, honestly. A very small railgun would probably be the best. Okay, either way, going into difficulty 20, I think I've got to wait a little bit longer before I extend the back of the craft. Making it vanish was even weirder. Okay, so for now, we're just going to be using prefab engines. I'll protect them a bit more and actually put them a bit further into the core, I think. So these will be the backup engines. We're still going to be using the RTGs for everything else, but as soon as the battery level drops below a certain level, or perhaps just as a backup when we need more actual engine power, then the fuel engines will kick in. This way we have the RTGs giving us constant free power, but if we're in a struggling position, these will kick in, everything will be absolutely fine. I do need to stop relying on the prefab engines, it's definitely a weakness of mine. Fuel engines aren't something I've ever enjoyed making. I'm not particularly bad at making them, because I did spend many hours in the not-so-distant past trying to learn the ins and outs, looking at videos of them, and I realised I don't really like creating them all that much. There we go, with the new engine we are now able to reach 100 meters per second, although it will burn resources to do so. We're also very bouncy at the moment, since I am redoing the tracks next. So, tracks next, which sounds really weird to say out loud, then armor at the top, then add a proper weapon, I suppose. Then work on the front again, because this is now looking a little bit less menacing than it once did. Still though, it controls incredibly well, and it's quick, so it should get the job done. Of course, the next enemy is a flyer, because why wouldn't it be? Just gonna really quickly and lazily put down some armor over these engines so I don't lose them instantly. Oh yeah, I don't think I've re-added pitch controls properly, have I? Here's the problem with the adventure mode. Constantly building, constantly changing, constantly mutating. You're always in a weird position. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's a wander, okay. There should be enough then, really. It's not particularly powerful in terms of its flight. Yep, seems to be struggling, and very gently down it goes. Oh, okay, just crashed into our top spikes. Perfect. Okay, back to the resource zone. Okay, so I'm going to add a small railgun here. We have enough space to really armor this thing up. It's just going to use either small heat shells or just really basic kinetic shells. I'm not too sure just yet. And that's going to be the main range weapon for the time being. There's loads of space still to add loads more, and for now, just loads of extra defense. It's still going to be really flat, I realise. And I am going to give full control of this straight away to the AI, that way I won't end up shooting myself constantly with it. I was busy building the turret cap, so I was paying absolutely no attention, and then suddenly this thing just comes out of nowhere. Yeah, I wasn't even actually recording at that moment, because I was just trying to set other stuff up while I was just setting up the turret. Okay then. What just happened? Oh yeah, I haven't set the railgun with any speed yet, have I? Well, more than anything, I'm very confused right now. He's using the... Oh, what the hell happened then? Well, I think I captured it, at least. Okay, so that was the most messy fight I've seen in a while. I'm thinking the Slayer's cost will refund me from what I just lost from smashing into the ground like that. I haven't added the rubber back yet to the front, which you can kind of see. Ow. Thankfully it's mostly just armor, I think, and space. Yeah, just the wheels and armor really which went. Okay, so it's 150 rounds per minute, and we're using the same heat shells as the previous video, so we're not firing as many, well, we're firing like 5 or 6 times less per second, but they should be able to do some decent damage to targets, so we can easily change them up, so they're firing faster or slower, and yeah, that's a good, easy, cheap, customizable railgun. It's just going to be a backup weapon, with the ram still being the main thing. So, need to fully armor this up, finish off the turret cap, finish off the armor on the sides, then we can upgrade the front later. I'll say it 100 times, one of the biggest problems with the adventure mode, well, one of the biggest challenges, I should say, isn't really a problem so much, is just the fact you can't test anything out, because as soon as you are actually here and you're doing anything, you could be under attack at any point. So the turret being this low, even with the highest of sensitivities, with the failsafe, was still shooting myself. Because we're bouncing around so much heading towards the enemy, unlike the normal tank, it just couldn't deal with that, especially at this low altitude. So I'm hoping by raising it up at least 1 block, that's going to happen a bit less. I've also extended the barrel, so kind of looks like a mosquito, so I'm going to call it the mosquito turret. Hopefully then in the next trial, it'll do a little bit better. So that was with the fight versus the Jackal a moment ago, one of the most boring fights I've ever had, and likely all of it was cut out because it was just me chasing it for a while after I knocked off its weapon. And hopefully the next fight will be a bit more interesting. So I don't really know what I'm doing with this turret. I'm not really happy with it, to be completely honest. Now I've raised it by 1, I know even less. You find out your weaknesses in this game very quickly. For me, engines, custom jets, and making turret caps. Kind of flew into the target then. Okay, lovely. I think the gun works just fine. So I have enough now, I can definitely upgrade the melee weapon at the front, and I'm trying to decide exactly what I'm going to do. I'm no longer really caring too much about the turret cap, it's well protected, I don't care that it doesn't look particularly great because it will be replaced soon enough, it's a very small railgun, we're going to add bigger later. Now, with the front, I do like how I've built these kind of drills, but what we could do is extend a line out to about here that have a massive saw. I think that would look really goofy. But it would be fun. We could have 3 potentially in the future. This would also give us a lot more reach, and because the saw won't be hitting consistently or leave gaps, it should knock the enemy about a bit, meaning we get more consistent damage. Though it will be expensive, and it will look very dumb. But fun, and over the top. Yeah, this is gonna look really silly. On the upside, it should help me with turning, having such a point so far away from the center of mass. Really, things are attacking me right now. Every time I try and build something. Is this the enemy which keeps on destroying itself, though? Yeah, this little thing. It has rams and a harpoon, but it tends to bounce around so much it ends up destroying itself. I don't think I've actually destroyed one myself yet. Yep, there we go, low health, it's already gone. Okay, so I'm thinking is, to make this look less awkward, we should have the turret more in the center and kind of build it up. That way we have flat spaces on the back and the front, which means I need to move pretty much everything to the back. I am considering going into the sandbox mode. Again, it's not a hard, fast rule that I don't use the sandbox mode at all in these runs. I just want to use it as little as possible to make sure the danger is very real. But right now, this is going to take maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, just to get everything where I want it to be. And I can't be bothered to do that while constantly fighting off difficult 25 enemies, because we'll end up with loads of resource, because we are kind of a bit too expensive now for this difficulty. I just haven't found a red portal in a while. So I'll be right back. With full disclosure, we're going to the sandbox mode. Well, that's just weird. Now we're hollow. So it turns out I was not paying attention. I've been getting loads of resources for fights this time around, and I'm actually way too expensive for the difficulty I was in. So I'm currently in difficulty 25 in the actual game, not in sandbox mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight as fast as possible all the way into difficulty 40 or so, because again, I don't want to over-level all the different difficulties, which is definitely something you can do, especially if you're newer to the game. Go ahead and just stick around in the lower levels. Get what you need to get a basic grasp of things, and then continue. But I want to be in danger, which is a very weird thing to say. Yeah, this looks really awkward and really stupid. So I want to build on top of this as well, so it's less flat here, so it looks less silly. That gives all this internal space here more space here, because as long as we're hitting in this section on the front, it doesn't really matter about this top section. Okay, so there's the thing. It's currently the same cost as it was before, but I've basically just moved all the internals around and made them a bit better protected. Now, I could spend literally hours now perfecting this for its cost and making it way better, but I don't really want to do that in the adventure mode. So I've just spent the last half an hour just changing up a little bit, so no real major improvements except for just where things are placed. Needs a lot more work, but there is loads of empty space. It is quite a big craft already, but it isn't that expensive because, again, it is mostly empty space, and all this front section here is just basically a spinning block of armor and nothing else. There's absolutely nothing in this section. There's nothing underneath the gun except for the gun itself, which is now placed higher, so big empty space. All of the stuff back here is where all the important stuff is, which has been massively increased in terms of protection, and that's it. Of all that empty space, it means we don't have to rebuild it again that much. So I'm going to go back, change it into this craft, and then just go after red portal for a while. Oh, don't roll away from the thing I'm building. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, difficulty 35 now, so we're about to hit level 40 once we go through that red portal over there. I haven't really done all that much at the moment, purely because, well, there's not much really to do. All I've done is extra armor, extra engines, extra turning, just really basic stuff to make sure that this ramming section is still our main weapon. I've also re-added the missiles to the front. Oh, that was lovely. Oh, I did. Well, no need to actually ram the target then. So I have added some medium missiles now to the front as well, so that's a lot of extra health for our missiles, so far more likely we'll actually land them. I think I'm just going to go straight to difficulty 50. We're on 45 currently? Yeah, yep, 45 currently, so let's see what 50 has to offer. So far, pretty much the same designs. And again, it is worth mentioning that apparently a big balance change is going to happen somewhat soon to the land adventure to make this a bit less of a bumpy difficulty increase. Because for the last 5 or 10 difficulties, it's not really been any difference. Okay, first fight in difficulty 50, not exactly too threatening there. There's only a single EMP warhead on every single one of our missiles, which is almost nothing. Either I'm getting very lucky with the hits, or we're just facing very EMP vulnerable enemies. Oh, a fellow melee craft. Ooh, that is so badly positioned for them. Wow, that was lucky. So, what they were using was the particle cannon melee weapon, and you could just see it wasn't touching any of our blocks. That was immensely unlucky for them. Although for some reason that pitch control has been nullified right now, which is interesting. Shouldn't be. The back thruster should still be there. Odd. Okay, let's go to difficulty 55. Melee weapons seem to do a lot of damage, and again, we are just a lot bigger than I expected to be at this difficulty. Not really on purpose, but sometimes that kind of happens. I think it's just the nature of using a melee craft. I do seem to be getting a lot more resource per fight. I'm not too sure why exactly that is. Maybe it's just because of how we deal damage, maybe because we're closer when we fight, maybe not wasting ammo by firing weapons except for the missiles. I'm not sure, but we get a lot of extra resource. If I could see a blue, I'd go through that instead. So right now we are on 50, we're about to hit 55. Oh, that's where Larry's been this entire time, holding onto the spin block. He must have been building it when I activated it. Whoops, also there's something right behind me, isn't there? Oh, is that like observer thing? Yeah, that's actually terrifying to see so close straight away. Hopefully, yep, some shots already causing some internal damage there. This thing can cause massive problems if you don't get to it quickly. It's that particle cannon. It's an EMP particle cannon, and all the surge protectors in the world might not still be enough. Thankfully, looks like we're breaking its innards a bit. And the harpoons are making it so you can't quite figure out where to shoot. For its resources, I would say this is one of the scariest craft in the game, and I mean that completely seriously. Because I don't think it's one of the strongest, even for its resources, but it's just... it can so easily counter you and cause massive problems. Why did my gun just fire all of its ammo at once then? It doesn't have a setting to do that. Manual control can do weird things in this game. Is it still flying by itself, or... I think I've just made it into a pet. I'm gonna call you... Roger. I think Roger needs to be put out of its misery. Is it another curiosity? No, it's not. I actually don't know what this one is. I'm scoring a lot of direct hits there with the EMP missiles. Yeah, what is that thing? Oh, it's lightning hoods. Whoa, what on earth is that? Okay, so you have an ancient relic. That's terrifying. Legitimately no idea what that could possibly be. Ooh, looks like the harpoons just themselves have done everything we need to do here. So these are the first two enemies of difficulty 60. I am going to have a few more fights before moving on. Yeah, just so you're aware, if you're made of heavy armor, you can pretty much ram everything else as long as the enemy isn't just a block of pure heavy armor and is heavier than you, which isn't happening that much with this craft. Can we just have a heavy-duty tank to fight, please? Wrecker. Okay, so it's a melee craft, and I've just sent harpoons against it. Yep, that's a genius move there, Lathrix. Also, I'm going to take manual control of the gun right now, because I want to fire directly at this thing's center. Which I'm not doing even now. Ow. Ooh, yeah, there's a chunk of my armor falling off then. I might go through that blue portal. In fact, I'm almost certain I will. If we survive this. This is, oddly enough, going very badly. Ow. There we go, my spin block finally making good connection. I'm very glad I've almost put all of my money into defense. Well, this is the least graceful fight I've had in a while. Don't really know what's going on. There we go, finally. Yeah, we had a lot of outer armor stripped, and that's really showing the importance of adding some more spikes to the outside. I am going to go through the blue portal, and that's going to take us 20 levels, I think, into the future, so level 80 at this point, which is, ooh, kind of scary. But I think it's worth it. Clearly, we spent way too much time early on, not really by choice, but we did, and we have way too many resources. Because I don't think my design is particularly good, but it is just hammering through these enemies. Okay, so let's spend that 50k, mostly on a few repairs here and there, and then we'll get to a much higher difficulty. Okay, first things first, some missile interceptors have now been added to our weird truck thing. Next up, I want to extend the center a little bit for a bit more added protection. I've redone some of the smoke dispensers since I noticed they weren't really working properly. The missiles are all good, and I think I'll probably just leave them as they are. Other than that, I mean, I really want to use some of the other melee weapons, but so far there has been absolutely no need. Nothing has been able to sustain itself against the spin block at all, so I'm going to be leaving it as it is for now. I think at some point I'll just do a build video where I just focus on actually building a craft for a day or two, and that'll definitely use some of the more weird systems. But for now, I do kind of just want to get to difficulty 100 this time around. I've completely removed the gun for now, because I wasn't completely happy with it. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this. Turning is good, speed is good, our engines are good. There's actually very little I need to do to have this in its final form, which is good because we're going to be going to difficulty 80 once we go through one of those red portals. I've just been looking back at the footage. This may be the shortest of all the full playthroughs. We'll see what happens next, because honestly, so little happens visually to this craft after the first few major changes. So, what have I done? I've changed the weapon. The weapon is now firing 220 rounds per minute, so about a third of the last one. It should be okay at least weakening enemies. I've changed up the missiles slightly so now they're bigger and all have more health, they'll have really reinforced bodies, added some more anti-munition systems here and there, might add some more later on, we'll see how they do at the moment. Redid the internal armor completely, tried to incorporate some of the wedges and everything else, as I've seen from the Steel Empire. I also dissected some of their designs recently to take a look how they were so sturdy. I don't think I've got a good grasp of it yet, but I think I'm getting better, and that's the important thing. Made sure there's some air gaps, made sure EMP protection around the more vital components like the turret itself, because that's been turned off a few times. Not much else, honestly, because, again, I think we're very close to its final design. There's very little else I really want to do outside of adding more ranged weaponry, which isn't really the point of this craft, so that's it. This weird truck, this weird crawler. It's a crawler! That's what it is. It's a Jaffa crawler. The Jaffa Cake crawler. So, with the crawler pretty much done, it's time to hit difficulty 80, and now we know for a fact that there are some deadly designs here. I hope we get to see the Scarab again, because there is no way the Scarab can one-shot my character again. I made sure of that. My character is very, very deeply embedded in this section of the craft, and lots of armor around it. Here's hoping things will go better. Oh yeah, and turning is also better, as you can see, especially on the spot. By adding some backwards thrusters, this thing can now turn way more efficiently, even at full speed or a complete stop. I'm rambling, because now I'm nervous, because we've got very, very far. I need to re-add the pitch controls. I see what's happened. I've added so much more mass to the top, but the pitch is now a lot more difficult, which is actually good for us, because it means even on lower thrust we can get some real speed, because we're so airborne, despite kind of bouncing along the ground. So the second I call this thing the crawler, it naturally becomes bouncy. Because the game likes to prove me wrong. Really? A wrecker at this difficulty? I mean, as we've seen in the past, we actually have some difficulty killing this thing, but I didn't expect to see it here. It's funny how some missiles just go straight through the ground, because the ground isn't that solid in the ground mode, to be honest. Oh, I died from the EMP. Well, first fight in 80, not exactly living up to its hype. Still managed to hurt me, though. Note to self, stop firing at harpoons at the thing which wants to be close to you as well. Push them away, like everything you love in life. Okay, so the second enemy was the bison. Yeah, definitely need more spikes on top. The issue is a lot of our, winches are quite high up, so it pulls them over us. We did end up doing 127,000 damage there, though. Oh, I mean, I've actually killed the target with the spin block, and apparently my speech with it. Goodbye. Okay. Here needs spikes. Okay, incoming swarm. Okay, our anti-missile's being used for the first time, and massive success. Oh, I think they rammed into each other. I did not do that, unless maybe the turret did. The turret is pretty good. Yeah, that drone squad was completely nullified there by our munition defense. Have to get really close to hit this thing, but there we go, harpoons away. Let's see how strong this thing can fly. Whoa! Oh, hello. Oh, I wish I saw that. Okay, with the additional harpoons we have now and the additional winches, apparently we have a lot of pull force. That thing just smashed into the ground. Lovely. Okay, so what do I actually want to do next then? We have a few blobs of resource now. Ooh, have I ever seen you? Oh, aren't you gorgeous? Oh no, we have seen the brown recluse before. Did it always look like that? No. God, I love Twin Guard. They're such cool designs. I think in the land campaign, Twin Guard are my favourite, whereas in the ocean campaign, probably still the Deepwater Guard. I love the scrappy pirate aesthetic. Doing alright, Larry? Yeah, Larry's doing fine. I just realised, at some points, I'm sure Larry is hitting rather than the ram and causing me to lose damage. I wonder how many times Larry has broken off into the enemy's armour, just splatted against everything. Oh, it can properly fly. I didn't actually expect that. Get back on my level. Oh, just catching his legs. Okay, seems like it has an advanced cannon. That's the main weapon. No! That just took out my cannon. How did it manage that? I thought... Okay, it's only the turret cap it took out. I was going to say, the actual gun itself, I think, is probably one of the best protected weapons I've ever built. Because that's kind of what this craft is all about, being able to be sturdy enough to get to the target. Okay, we need to repair the damage that's been dealt to us, and then we're going to have like 60,000, no, actually, that cap's quite expensive. We'll have something like 50 to 60,000 to play with, and then I'm going to go to difficulty 85. We're getting really close, and I've kind of fell in love with the vehicle. You know what? It looks like a complete mess. It looks weird, bizarre, truly silly. And it just feels like me. So I added some more harpoons. Difficulty 90. So I've added more rams everywhere, which I keep calling spikes, which I really shouldn't. This way, if anything connects, it's just going to be destroyed upon the spikes. The rams, I literally just said I shouldn't do that, and that's going to hopefully prevent random bits of damage. I'm still fairly certain that's how we ended up losing our turret cap before. It was because of melee damage done against it. Wow, this thing really wants to pitch up right now, but as long as it doesn't, and as long as it's consistent like this, I'm fine. Also, love how fast this thing feels. It's just really fun to use. Turning's responsive, it's quick, hit things, fun. I'm a simple person, you know? So at this point, we are more expensive than the tank was in the previous video. However, we don't have the two side tanks, making the overall resources significantly less than last time. I do, however, feel far deadlier. Bit cheesier as well, but mostly deadlier. Ah, swarm again. Not ideal. If I loose the missiles, they'll probably just go after the parent ship, I imagine. Oh, or are they? So these are the satisfactions from fairly certain drop bombs. Okay, grabbed a couple of the drones. I don't know what's actually going to happen to them. Looks like we're taking out most of their bombs. I don't think I've been hit. Oh, there goes one. Lovely. One of them are dragged into us. Going after the parent now. As long as most of these hit. There we are. Drag that down and smash into the ground again. Beautiful. I keep underestimating our main gun, I keep underestimating our missiles. Ow, lots of EMP. Thankfully, really gone heavy with the surge protectors. Okay, looks like the parent has been basically nullified. It hasn't been destroyed yet, but nullified. Clearly, one flaw we have is not enough ammo. Okay, grabbed another one by a harpoon. That looks like all it needs to drag it down. Okay, there goes another one. Good for going after the satisfaction. Feels mean destroying these drones after we ended up using them in the previous video. Okay, at least one's connected, I think. And that's why I added spikes to the top. Okay, first things first, we need some more ammo storage. What I think I'm going to do is actually extend the middle of the craft. So I'm going to copy all of this and place it like here. And then that can be for ammo storage and some other stuff as well. Okay, so more munition defense clearly needed. This thing has really huge missiles which have hit on the side twice now and caused a lot of resource worth of damage. Okay, still. Managed to take it down in the end. Our missiles are also completely countered by that, so more munition defense and more high health missiles, I suppose, on our side. Getting more resource than I know what to do with now. This is pretty much the same as the previous video, honestly. At this point, just get so much per fight. Every time I see these copters, it's becoming nighttime. Happened in the last one, happening in this one too. They're also causing a weird amount of lag this time around, for reasons I'm not entirely sure of. Okay, that was a good hit there. I just saw a lot of the internals spill out. This one I think turned off. Yep, there it goes. Lovely. Next one. Our armor's definitely heavy enough to just ignore these copters, honestly. I don't think our missiles are doing anything though. Annoyingly. I can't even see that one now. So there's another brown recluse over there, one we've already fought before, so I'm going to go through the red portal, then I'm going to start adding some more ammo. In the previous little break there, what I've done is add way more munition defense. I've also added some extra jets. I've made sure that jet can actually see through the craft now, because before it was being blocked. And I've added more spikes and more internal armor, because I could. Now, I need a nice block of ammo. Oh. 2 enemies at once. 3 enemies at once. Missiles, which one are you going towards? The King Cobra, sure, let's go towards that then. Okay, it's quite a quick target there. Is that the King Cobra? Is that... Nope, that's definitely not the King Cobra. I say that as if, like, oh, it can't be white flyers. Okay, so we've grabbed this thing. Oh! Why on earth are you here at difficulty 95? So you make more sense. You're quite small, but you're 100k resources, you have a really nasty looking advanced cannon, and obviously a much better looking drill than what I made. Oh, that's how I should have made it. Okay, let's take out the Cobra quickly. Goodbye. Now let's just hit you. Yeah, our spin block's bigger, therefore you are defeated. Lovely. Next, please. Yeah, why is the King Cobra there? I knew it was the Dustwind group, but I always thought that was a really small craft, so I just didn't assume it was the correct one. Longhorn. I recognize that from the last attempt. I think that one has large missiles and is just big. And I'm not going to be able to actually make it. Whoa! Thank you, cannon there, causing a massive internal explosion. Okay, we've got to the point where we have so many winches, I actually don't have enough engine power for it again, which is kind of amazing considering we have a lot of engine power. Just like dissected it. And here is the inside. And here is the inside without its butt. And that's why you add spikes all over the craft. So no matter where it hits us, we do damage. Okay, I'm actually going to need a lot of repairs after that, so what do I spend the money on this time? I don't know. I don't want to do any major renovations anymore. We could add some normal missiles, just as a normal weapon. These back sections here are begging for something. We could easily just pull this armor down and then add some launchers. Could even add more harpoons, but I don't really need that. We could add more engine. Oh, that's the obvious choice, isn't it? Let's add more engines there then. Okay, these aren't done yet, but we do have 2 custom jets now. So these aren't going to be that powerful, because what I've had them do is actually generate normal engine power in addition to forward thrust. So I'm going to make these nice and heavily armoured. They're super expensive to run, honestly just very expensive things anyway. But they should allow us to outrun pretty much any danger, so that's great. I haven't added anything to the side yet. I haven't done any of the things in the correct ratio. I just wanted to make sure this thing could fit. Okay, let's armour it up and then see if we have enough space for all of this. Well, it's quite messily done, but it'll do for now, until I have a bit more time. Yep, that's increased our max speed by about 20, almost 30, so that's great. And it's also providing more regular engine power as well, because we added the jet generator to both of these, which is this one here. Redirects thrust and jet engine to generate power, or to charge batteries with energy. We have them just to make pure power at the moment. Yeah, really don't like how this back section looks. I'll be changing that if we get enough time, but for now the crawler is moving along. Hopefully we'll face a few more enemies before we move over to our final destination, difficulty 100. The Nemesis. What is the Nemesis? Wow, we just did 20,000 munition defense damage there, so hopefully that was a lot of the missiles gone. Whoa! Loads of particle cannons, lots of everything. Is this like the ultimate twin guard? Oh, it very well could be. That's a big boy. Oh, that definitely is. Wow, that is so much more expensive than we are. Okay, no longer feeling bad about the cost of our craft. There we go. Let's just tear into its bottom section a little bit there. Oh, something has gone from one of our sides. My turning has been almost completely nullified. Yeah, internals are damaged. It's those particle cannons, definitely. Come on, there we go, back to the core. Goodbye to its base. Let's just quickly pop down miscellaneous heartstone. With its base gone, this thing's going to be in a much worse position, and we are still tearing through it. The problem is I'm not in control at all right now. Okay, I think we tore off its arms. I think we win? Yeah, my cannon's still online. Wow, that was horrendous. Those particle cannons must have just gone right through. Oh my god, they seriously did. They went through like 8 layers of heavy armor with wedges and everything else. Okay, where actually am I? Okay, I've bounced somewhere, so I need to get back on top so I can actually move this thing. Okay, there we go. Let's... Did I just put myself, like, upwards? Fine. Oof. Let's destroy that second thing that's currently fighting us. Oh, you'll never guess what's trying to kill us after we just fought that last enemy. Yeah, it's the Scarab. I'm half dead, but fully angry. There we go. Let's just shred that front off a little bit. Stop bouncing to the side. Goodbye, Scarab. Okay. What a combo. Scarab and the Nemesis. Now, the Nemesis is still over there. It's just completely nullified. So we're going to go over and we're going to capture it to repair ourselves because I'm missing half of my craft. Okay, it's not fully nullified then, apparently. Apparently it's still very angry, still firing missiles at us, which are mostly being removed, but again, half the craft is currently missing. See, I did that as well. I understand why it's doing this as well. It's all to do with health and its weight and also how damage propagates. But apparently that wasn't enough for those particle cannons. My god, they just tore right through our face. I mean, to be fair, the craft did actually survive, and if it was being run by AI, which did survive this, and not by the flesh pit that is me in the center, I think we would have done okay. Not necessarily won, but who knows. Now, where on earth would this thing's AI actually be? I have no idea. It's so jam-packed. It's somewhere through this section here, I think. Was that it? Yep, that was. Okay, pause. Let's not die. Oh, does this thing actually have a heartstone? Never mind, I'm not even in danger right now. I like seeing the world upside down. Let's disconnect from that. Lovely. Okay, that's more resources than we could possibly need. Let's just destroy this thing. That is an absolutely awesome design, and I need to see it in the sandbox mode quickly. Spawning in as us. There's the nemesis. So it's saying the total cost is 2,801. But I'm fairly certain that's just the bottom section. Yeah, the torso is also worth 217k. My god, how do they do these eyes? I'd get how to swap in between two. I'm not sure how they do that. Is that just an image being portrayed? I need to figure that out, because that's just so cute and so cool looking. Oh, Twin Guard designers, you're so much better than me, it's not even funny. Let's have a look-see then. What exactly tore through us? 30-second delay, explosive shock. How much damage is it actually doing exactly? Oh, wow. Okay. So it's 4 shots. 14k, which doesn't seem as much as I actually expected. How did you tear through me so easily with that? Ah, then you have advanced cannons everywhere, so... No, 2 crams, then 2 advanced cannon sets, low gauge. Oh, it doesn't actually have the weapons I thought it had, so pretty much everything I said about this thing was incorrect. Its missiles we did do a decent job of nullifying. I am surprised these particle cannons were so effective at just ripping apart the front section of my craft, to be completely honest. A little bit worrying, actually. But I think it was a mix of everything. Just, that's a lot of very cool weaponry. Wait, what's your fire rate? Oh my god! Fire rate of 825 for the cooling limit. You are 825. Okay, so it's just loads of littler shots, and then the cram cannon's still a decent one. Kinetic fragment. Okay, so that went inside and then detonated. Okay, I'm now seeing how it did so much damage. Just lots of very interesting weaponry there, really designed to get into the target and cause some damage. Oh, I love how it's done these back vents. Okay, enough gushing about that. Let's get back into the actual game itself. Honestly, that's way too many resources for me to want to add to a ramming vehicle, so what I'm going to do is, similar to the previous video, I'm going to end this with 2 of the Jaffa tanks as minions. Because, well, I can. I thought my melee craft was way bigger than it was, but now I'm seeing it against the Jaffa tanks. Actually, it's not much bigger than the final version in the previous run. I have no idea what just hit us, but it instantly took out one of the Jaffa tanks. Okay, the Relentless. Okay, that's got a nasty cannon on it then. The one tank didn't even get a chance to get released before it got took out. Oh, it's 2 enemies in fact. Okay, fire the missiles. Hopefully these will land. I doubt that thing doesn't have munition defense though. Yeah, flares already going out. Missiles hitting us. Our interceptors are doing something though. Oh, the missiles did hit. That was really surprising, honestly. Oh, did that just take out my ram? Wow, that's not good. Those took out one of our ground things. Oh, the tanks have taken out one of the enemies. So that's interesting, considering only one of the tanks is actually operational. Now, we do, of course, have the normal rams. We just don't have the spin block anymore. And our gun is still firing, mind you. So we are still doing some internal damage to the enemy normally. As we bounce around, the rams are causing some damage. Any missiles we have left, please fire directly into the enemy's center. That's great. Now it's just how long we survive. Yep, we've taken it out. Pfft, who needs the spin block when you just have rams, determination, and a really tanky craft? Meanwhile, our tank is just destroying enemy designs. Wow, first enemy to take out our spin block completely. Wow. The enemy was about our cost as well, so that was a lovely fight. I wish I know what our tank was fighting though. Let's see how much it dropped. About the same as ours. Wow, well done, Jaffa tank. Okay, can you please all return? I need to get healed up. Watching the tanks float around is really quite interesting. Anyway, this is it. Difficulty 100. If we get a couple of kills against a few godlies here, I will consider this a massive success, and we have finished off the land campaign at least doing, well, a run with no real rule set. Rules and lots of different ways to play certainly can be used in the future. Simple weapon only, melee only, so nothing else like the advanced cannon and everything else. A certain size limit, for instance, could very easily be implemented to our craft. Having to use drones for everything, there is so much more we can do. And I am so loving my time here at the moment. It's just good to be back in From the Depths after so long. Last few weeks have been lovely. Just rang the bell again. Okay, an enemy has appeared. Note to self, drop the tanks off a little bit further forward, that would be great. So what are we facing off against this time? Okay, a bit smaller, well, fairly smaller. Oh no, is it just the Relentless again? Never mind. I was about to say it's smaller than the Relentless with such certainty, when in fact, it's just the Relentless again. Wow, yeah, those shells are nasty things. This time though, I'm much better prepared than in the previous attempt. Well, we took out some of the missiles, but not all of them, annoyingly. Missiles away. Again with the spin block being taken out. Wow, you were just designed to be annoying for my main weapon, huh? Anyway, enjoy all that EMP. Okay, munition defense doing way better that time. And that time the melee was way more devastating on the first hit. Our gun is still firing, you can see all the heat fragments there being spawned. Let's try and back up if we can. It's going to be difficult with all the harpoons stuck in the enemy, but still. There we go, and then I can move again, and a second Relentless has been destroyed. Why is it moving like that? One of the Jaffa tanks is just in space. Why? Oh no, it's not enemies. Okay, just those little helicopters, that's no bother. Though that does mean I've just automatically dropped that tank from space. No, my child! Further proof that Lathrix shouldn't have children. Still injured at the moment. Ooh. Oh, those are missiles. I thought they were body parts then. I just jumped far higher than usual then. Yeah, that is my munition defenses. Sorry, your missiles are being completely turned off. Currently I'm still damaged though, and I also need to refuel my batteries. So if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Longhorn, before the next big old godly gets here, can you please just vanish? Thank you. I've just realised there's a bit of a paradox right now. There's now 3 Larrys. Reaver. I do not know what the Reaver is. By its name, I'm assuming white flyers. It's dead. Wow, the tanks took it out with their EMP shells. Yeah, my missiles didn't even land in time. Wow, well done, guys. I was just looking back at that footage. I lost my front because I smashed into the ground at full force. I replaced the rubber with spikes. I may have been taking out my own spin block for the last, like, 3 fights. Well then. No, I'm fairly certain it was from shots when it came to the Relentless, but even then, potentially, it could have been, honestly. I think I'll just stick around for 1, maybe 2 more fights, and then consider this a victory. Or death, if they kill me. Okay, next up, let's see what we have. A bison. Okay, so nothing too scary this time then. Still, you can see the EMP hitting there from the Jaffa tanks. I'm always surprised by how effective EMP can be on advanced cannons, because you don't normally see it from a lot of the campaign designs. Oh yeah, I still need to recharge my batteries, don't I? Yeah, at the moment I don't actually have enough energy to use both the winches and my turning, because I'm a dum-dum and forgot to just quickly charge the batteries before the fight. Either way, the enemy's AI dead. Thank you, Jaffa tanks. Whee! Just flinging around a corpse. Charming. Straight out of one fight, straight into the next, and apparently the next straight after that. So this is a long horde. Oh my god, the speed. Just shredded the underside of that thing. But what's next? Some small craft as well with this thing. Thank you, munition defense. Stop both of those before they just hit us. Seeing EMP striking already. The Kingfisher. It's bouncing from enemy to enemy at the moment. Okay, looks like a couple of our harpoons have connected. And at full speed, yep, that just dissected the enemy. Goodbye. Hopefully my tanks are okay. We're getting quite far away from them now. Oh, not the nemesis again. I don't really think we're ready for this. Yeah, we're losing a lot. Yeah, those rapid fire cannons are nasty. Yeah, I've lost my engine at some point. My main engine, that is. No missiles left. Is the nemesis gonna get revenge on us, is the question, or can we just about make it? That's it, let's shred that torso. Well, shred the base, now we can shred the torso, that's it. Lean into the spin block. Our spin block's down, but our gun's still firing, which is great, and the enemy isn't looking great itself. Use the rams on the side, there we go. We've got rams pretty much everywhere, so as long as we make some kind of connection, we're doing damage. Well, we just exploded. But so did the enemy. Come on, just kill this nemesis and, like, say I win. Done. Okay. Yeesh. So many enemies. Oh no, now there's a swarm. Oh, if I go through that red portal, I think that'll reset the enemies. I think it will, even though we're on 100. So we need to do quickly. Resources, maximum size. Way too many enemies right now. It's been like 6 enemies in a row? Just one after the other after the other? That's just relentless. Which has been the name of some of the enemies, in fact. Don't destroy the resource storage, please. Please work. Yes! Okay, we're fine. God, this little vehicle could just... Well, little. This vehicle could take such a beating. Returning the Jaffa tanks to us, which I'm fairly certain are holding some of our resources. Well, they are also just made of resources if we actually needed that. What's going on? So you should be holding max. Jaffa tanks, less. There we go. Brilliant. You know what? 2 nemesises, multiple relentlesses, the relentless times multiple, and a swarm we managed to run away from valiantly in addition to some of the Onyx Watch stuff. I consider this a victory. Lathrix wins. Difficulty 100 complete. With our melee craft in all of its punk style. This was one of the most fun adventure modes I have ever done, and I really do hope you've enjoyed. Any suggestions for future full playthroughs? Please tell me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, have a lovely day, and do take care. And until next time, goodbye. The Jaffa Crawler, with little Jaffa children, which I'm now realising are a lot more Jaffa coloured than we are. Sometimes, isn't life just full of little disappointments?